Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for July 6th. Currently looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This particular pair moved much lower today, did break some previous support, but did close higher than that support. So still moving sideways, biased to sideways. I am looking for this pair to move potentially as high as 96.82 and as low as 93.94, which is much lower on the chart. Definitely look for some resistance around 95.68 and look for some resistance around 94.66 in this particular pair. Now switching to the Euro-USD pair, this particular pair moved lower today, did close higher, definitely moving sideways, biased to sideways. Currently looking for this pair to move potentially as high as 1.4100, possibly as low as 1.3786 for this next session. Definitely look for some resistance around the 1.4030 mark, which is right about here, and look for some support around 1.3926 in this particular pair. Now switching over to the pound US dollar pair. This particular pair moved much lower as expected. It did break previous support, but did pull back much higher and close lower, but much higher than where it was at its lows. And because of this, we're still looking for this pair to move sideways. The bias is still sideways. I'm not convinced that we're moving lower over these next couple of sessions. Now switching to what we're looking for during this next session, look for this pair to potentially go as high as 164.48 and possibly look for it to move as low as 159.75 in this particular chart, which is much lower than what we're seeing right now. Look for some resistance around 163.65 and look for some support to kick in around 161.88, which is right at this level. Now switching over to the US Swiss, this pair moved much higher, pulled back, closed lower overall, still moving sideways, biased is still sideways. Looking for this pair to potentially move as high as 110.35, possibly as low as 107.50. Look for some resistance around the 1.0895 level and look for some support around the 1.0800 level right here. Now, as far as news announcements goes, we have the pound releasing their GDP estimates for June at 7:01 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. There's no consensus. The previous was negative 0.9%. So keep an eye on that. One that you should keep an eye on also is the Reserve Bank of Australia releasing their rate decision at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time tonight, later tonight, early tomorrow morning. And their consensus on that one is that they're going to hold rates at 3.00%. Now, this brings up to kind of what I'm looking at during this next session. If you take a look at the Australian New Zealand dollar pair, this particular pair formed a swing trade during this last session. At the close of this last session, I'm sorry, it formed a swing trade, and we're looking for it to move much lower. It also formed an overextended bar, which I don't have that on this chart, that particular indicator, but basically is an indicator that lets us know when the average daily range from the open to the close is larger than the average true range, which is from the high to the low over the past several bars. So the idea is that when we have an overextended bar, which this bar is, that it can move much lower, much quicker than normal. So look for it to break the low. It's already tagged it once. Look for it to get get some momentum, especially off the rate decision. I could definitely see it tagging this this area of support that we have seen in the past recently. So we just have to get past some of this resistance that is now support where we currently are, and then I believe we will head on down 80 to 100 pips from that point. So definitely keep an eye on this one going into the rate decision. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.